Hello, how's everybody doing? Oh, welcome to Get It Right. Today I am voicing over an arm sculpt package, and I'm starting off with some mineral spray, rubbing that in really well, and then adding some ultrasound gel and starting my cavitation process with RF from the S-shape machine. Now, you guys, there is a specific rhythm that I use, and there is a specific pattern that I use when I'm doing cavitation on any part of the body, but I'm extra concentrating when I'm doing arms, because let me tell you, arms have been one of my biggest challenges during my learning process. So I just really use the exact same rhythm. I use the exact same pattern, and I'm always massaging the area with cavitation when I'm doing arms, because I need to help that fat, fluid, whatever it is in there break down. Now, this beautiful client has been with me for 12 sessions at this point. This was her 12th session. I think it was probably her sixth, this was her third arm sculpt, and we are coming along quite nicely. I do add some other modalities to her treatment. As you can see, she's currently in the sauna bag, and she was in there for about 20 minutes before I unzipped it and started working on her arms. But I like to work on this particular client warm or hot, just because I find that we get best results when she's had sauna treatment. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the order of my arm treatment at this point, since I've got it. I'm confident in it, and I think I've got it down at this point. I start warm, so I'm either going to put them on the laser lipo pads for anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes, depending on the client, depending on the amount of time that I'm working with. I then take them off of the laser lipo pads and I spray them down with the mineral spray. After I spray them down with the mineral spray, I add the ultrasound gel, and I go in with my radio frequency and cavitation at the same time, and I massage the area. Like you can see here, I'm moving with the probe. There's some massage in there with this, because I'm helping everything that's getting broken down here move along the lymph. And the pattern that I'm going in is always on the arms. It's always in an upwards motion. You guys Google the lymphatic system and you'll get a map of the direction that the lymph moves all over the body. And that is how you can determine which direction you should be moving in when you're using your cavitation, or even vacuum or RF as well. So I'm just constantly going over the same spots rhythmically and in an upwards motion towards her lymph, which is right there in that armpit. After about 20 to 30 minutes of cavitation, again, depending on how much time I have, I will do some wood therapy, and you'll see that coming up here shortly. after wood therapy, and that's typically 5 to 7 minutes, again, depending on how much time I have. After wood therapy, the next process is a massage. And I don't only massage the part of the arm that I'm working on, I also massage that distal or bottom portion of the arm at the wrist up to the elbow, because the whole purpose of this is moving fluid, toxins, and broken down fat cells, right? And so the lymph is on a chain, sort of like a chain, it's like a chain of events that's happening. So you have to start at the most closest part to the heart, which is what I'm doing here with the cavitation and massage. And after that releases into the lymph, you work your way down to help the fluid move along. So think of it as like a pea pod, I guess, right? So you have 5 peas in a pod, right? You would think, okay, I'll start at the bottom of this pod to start releasing the peas out, right? You don't start at the top of the pod to squeeze the peas out, because then what would happen? Well, they would get stuck. I hope that makes sense. In my mind, it made sense. Comment below if that made sense. So think of the lymph as a pea pod, you guys. Starting from the closest part to your bowl or your plate, whatever you're putting it in. In this case, the bowl or the plate would be the heart. You know, squeezing that fluid out towards the heart. If that didn't make sense, I'm sorry. I briefly wanted to talk about how I am positioned during an arm process. I typically am sitting in a stool on either side of the client, depending on which arm I'm working on, because like this stance right here is not the best stance to be in. Your back will hurt if you do this for 40 minutes, okay? Like, don't do this. I think you can see, like, right here, I'm in a stool. Right here you can see me massaging the arm like I discussed previously, and I'm starting in on wood. Now this tool, this curved breaker, is the best, and I'm going to show you guys why. But in the meantime, when I do wood, I am typically on arms, I'm typically going in the same pattern as I would go when I'm doing cavitation or vacuum suction. So I'm sorry, earlier in the recording, I believe I called this a breaker, and this is not a breaker, it is a heater, okay? Mushroom tool here. It's breaking up everything I just heated with the first tool. And I don't use this a lot on the arms. I probably should be using it more frequently. One thing I could say about wood is just do it. It's self-explanatory. I can't Try it with, try it without. You'll see why you should just do it. This is our cube roller here, and this is breaking everything we just heated up, getting ready for me to send it on out on its way. So I love this breaker. It's very noisy, but it gets the job done. Again, every tool that I'm using is in an upwards motion towards that lymph under her arm here. And I don't go hard. Like, I'm not trying to bruise anybody, although I have in the past. I'm just light motions, okay? Light. More roller. So you guys see that curvature in this tool right here, how I'm able to get under the arm, around the arm, up on the shoulder. It's just perfect. It's perfect for the arms, thighs, anywhere in the body. This tool right here is very, very, very versatile, and it's a very easy to work with. Now, this is my other heater, and it's a straight tool, and you guys can see how by it being straight, I wasn't able to really get in there. It's awkward. So I would say if you're going to pick up a wood tool or wood breaker, definitely consider the curved one. And then, you can start adding others. So it looks like I picked up the suction head. And I typically vacuum suction in the exact same direction that everything else is in upwards motion, with my radio frequency on for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the area I'm working. And I have my suction up on about maybe a 5 and 4. On a very minimal strength, and it's literally mimicking, I would say, like heart rhythms. Hopefully you guys can hear it. But that's pretty much my arm sculpt treatment. I believe our next process is probably going to be wiping her off, cleaning her up, and putting some alcohol on her, because this client is also getting fat dissolve in this session. For my fat dissolve, I do have a video on that. If you go back in my body sculpting library or playlist, you will find it. It's called Hyaluron Pen Fat Dissolve, and you can see how we do that. So yeah, more massaging. Next up, before and afters. This is the left view, and this is the right view. Thank you so much for watching. If you learned something new, like the video, consider subscribing, and let me know what you want to see. You guys are the best. Get it right.